Thank you very much, Massimo, for coming today.
Yeah, thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. It's been a nice week of master classes here at Apicius Armenia, so I'm really happy, and I like the idea that we have started also these type of activities here at Apicius Armenia. They're very important to keep the community close to the school.
How is Armenia this time to you? Is it opening more and more?
Yeah, it's always less new, and even if I have still a lot of things to discover, but I told you since the very first time it's becoming like a second home. So
Are you
feeling
relocating?
comfortable. Huh?
Are you relocating?
Not at the moment, but you never know in life.
If we talk about things related to hospitality and restaurant-wise, in your opinion, what are the key elements that transform a simple meal into an extraordinary dining experience?
Let's say that people wrote books about this. Let's try to focus on the most important points. I would say 3 words: service, food, and ambience. The service is fundamental. For some professionals, service is almost considered like the most important thing in for the dining experience of the guests, because actually it's who the guests are in contact with during their stay in a cafe, restaurant. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 5 hours. So service is very important, and everything has to be coordinated. It's not just about kindness or availability, but it's also the ability to show that there is a workflow that makes sense. Service staff should be able to anticipate the needs of the customer, understand when it's the moment to approach the customer, when it's the moment to have a quick chat, or eventually to leave the table alone. I think that the important thing is that the guests should perceive that there is an organization that has everything under control. And under control means that everyone is focused on giving the guest the best experience possible. The second part is food. Of course, food must be good. But I think that when we talk about food, we need to think about the kitchen workflow. A plate can be, a dish can be very good, but it might arrive late, or the service from the kitchen might be slow. So in that case, the experience of the guests is not as satisfying. We always think that we are going to restaurants or to cafes or to bistro to taste great food. That, of course, it's of course the purpose, but it's not only about this. If I'm eating too slowly, if the service is too slow, that changes my perception of the overall quality. So besides the quality of food that must be always guaranteed, there is also a lot more to consider. Again, the speed of service, the consistency of the menu. This is also very important. If I go to a restaurant 3 different times and I want to order the same dish because I like it, I am expecting to taste the dish always as good. Sometimes it's not possible, but for sure good professionals can guarantee these standards that help building that number of repeat business that is fundamental for the restaurants. That is why many touristic sites, many touristic restaurants, sometimes they lose the connection between this type of quality and consistency, because they know that they have always a different flow of different people that will go there once and then probably will never show up in their life. So they have just one shot. If people are not completely satisfied, the important thing is that they pay the bill. In real professional food service, this is something that should never even come to mind. We should always be consistent. So I think that the third element is the ambience. So the place where the people are going to spend some time of their life. It's not a matter of creating a very beautiful environment. Everybody can hire an architect and design a stunning place with very beautiful and expensive furniture or seats or sofas or crystal glasses, but then these ambience, this environment must match with the type of service and food that is served. So it doesn't matter if it's a family style restaurant or a rustic style restaurant or a five-star restaurant, everything should be matched. So it is very important that who manages the place and who let's say designs the place have this in mind, because sometimes we have this my experience says that when you hire an architect to do, I have nothing against architects, okay, they are fundamental, but sometimes you find those that want to show how good they are in designing a place. I think that the important thing is that they understand what is the mission of this place. Does this place is this place going to be a five-star restaurant? Okay, so we will make it that way. Is this place going to be a comfortable space for people to spend a few hours of their life with their families or with friends? The design should match. In the last 30 years, this has been object of study in the restaurant business, and it is for sure nowadays an area of architecture and interior design that is developing a lot. In particular, because we are in the society of the of social media, where everything should appear in a certain way. But then, besides what you can see on Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media you're using, what matters is what people feel when they are sitting in that place. Because what you see in Instagram is an image taken by someone else about someone that is not you, taking shots. When you are the one that sits at the table, you should feel that everything that is around you, let's say, follows a common thread. This is something very important.
So Italian cuisine is often celebrated for its simplicity. What advice would you give to Armenian restaurants so that they can use this concept, the less is more, in their operations?
So Italian cuisine, I would like to define it as an ingredient-led composition. So the food that we like is the food where we can recognize the ingredients that make a dish. It doesn't mean that we eat only dishes with two elements, but we are not scared to offer very simple dishes to our guests, because we are used to appreciate the quality of every single ingredient. So the goal in Italian cuisine is to highlight a flavor, is to highlight the quality of ingredients that you're choosing. We like to choose top quality ingredients. We don't like to compromise on these ingredients, and this is why we also focus a lot on the concept of seasonality, that not everybody applies, but most of the people enjoy to find in a restaurant. So the right type of vegetables in the right moment of the year. We like to to show the people the beauty of what nature can give us without too many sophistications. Then of course there are more complex recipes in Italian cuisine. If you think about lasagna alla bolognese, just to name one that everybody knows, it's made of layers of flavors, and it requires hours of preparation. But at the end of the day, there is still the ability in our chefs into highlighting the quality of the single raw materials. Let's name one. The caprese salad. Very simple dish. You don't need particular skills to make it. You have to slice tomatoes and slice mozzarella. The thing is, if you choose the tomatoes when they are in season, so this is of course a summer dish, and if you choose a top quality mozzarella, the simple combination of the two together with a little bit of a very good extra virgin olive oil and a pinch of salt, for us it's more than satisfying. For us it's luxury, because anyway, behind this very simple dish there is the choice of the ingredients. There is the effort in looking for ingredients always at the peak of their quality, and this is not something so simple, you know, because it requires time to search for the right suppliers, making sure that the ingredients are always available when they are necessary, and you know, and food is made, is created. It's not just like a piece of plastic that can be stamped by a machine. So anyway, there is you know, behind a dish that is made of 3 ingredients, there is the work of the olive oil producers. They spend a lot of time into making the best product possible. There is the work of the farmer that grows you know, those beautiful tomatoes in the most natural way possible, and there is also the art and the dedication of the cheesemaker that always makes that mozzarella at the top of the quality every single day. And this is not something that we can give for granted, because you know, it requires a lot of work. So for us, simplicity is this, highlighting the quality of the ingredients, and this is also positive from the point of view of the you know, restaurant marketing strategies, but also the restaurant management of the ingredients, because it makes possible to create a revenue even without particular skills or you know, labor-intensive sessions, and this is at the end of the day something positive for the restaurant business.
Can you give some examples when this like philosophy was ruined with overusing like one of the ingredients or one of something?
Oh, unfortunately, the examples are many. We were talking about
the most vivid ones.
We were talking about the caprese salad, and I think that a good way to ruin the you know, the harmony and the perfection of this triad that you have in the caprese salad is to add a cheap balsamic vinegar on top, which is something that, believe me, not a lot of people do. I'm not saying that balsamic vinegar is not good in that preparation, but it somehow ruins everything that I said before. You know, this perfect harmony that you have with these 3 ingredients is not highlighted from my personal point of view and the point of view of few more million of Italians. It's somehow covered, you know, it's altered. Then of course, as I always say, it's a free world and you do whatever you want, but I don't think that that splash of vinegar adds something just because it's known to be an expensive product. First of all, because it is usually not the expensive one, or like the super, you know, aged one. Second, because again, it is just like adding something extra that is not necessary. It's like if you buy a beautiful dress and you add something to that dress that has nothing to match. So you go to Armani, you buy a beautiful suit, and then you decide to wear an element that has nothing to do with that suit. I think that Armani wouldn't be actually very happy. He made it to look in a certain way, and so, you know, I think we should respect also the art and the tradition that has been settled, you know, with you know, years, decades, and centuries. Another example that we were talking about the other day, when we were at the restaurant and we saw that there was a pasta with pesto. Besides the fact that in November, so we're almost in Christmas, basil, it's not growing so easily in nature. There was cream in that pasta with pesto, which is again something that doesn't mean anything with the dish. The dish is already creamy by itself, so actually adding cream doesn't give a benefit, you know, to the guest. And the cream would just alter the balance that you have in the pesto sauce. Let's say that the pesto is freshly made, with the leaves, with the pine nuts, with the garlic, with the olive oil, and with the cheese. What else do you want? You already have a sauce that is made of 5 ingredients that have a very distinctive flavor. You add cream and you dilute it. Basically, you're doing this, you're diluting it. It's like, I don't know, making a perfect cocktail and then just adding a glass of water to it. You don't taste it the way that it's supposed to be. Then, of course, if you say, I like it, then we enter in a completely different world. Like, okay, the guest is always right. I think in this position now, so I'm not in the restaurant, I don't think that the guest is always right. I think that guests should be also kindly educated in eating food the way that it's supposed to be. If you don't like the food as it is in the tradition of a country, I think that the good solution is to choose another dish, which is not a big limitation. I mean, you survive even if you don't eat the pesto. You know, you can get many more things. I know we are quite strict on this, but we really believe in this, in the value of keeping flavors as simple as possible. And anyway, from the organoleptic point of view, it is important. You know, the cream in this case would not make the taste feel better, taste better, but it would just cut the flavors and it wouldn't allow you to, to appreciate, the perfect balance that a good pesto sauce should have.
Many restaurants usually struggle with profitability and consistency. What are some of the mistakes that restaurants usually make in terms of trying to be profitable and consistent, and what they can do to eliminate these mistakes?
At Apicius we have a whole course that is dedicated to the development of a menu. So first thing is a bad food cost. Mm-hmm. Second, having menus that are too large. If you don't have a kitchen that can support this volume of production. Then another problem is poor pricing strategies. And then also a bad workflow in the kitchen, but not only the kitchen and front of the house, and also inconsistent executions. So these are, I would say, the five main mistakes that bring to losing profitability in restaurant. First of all, so food cost. We always talk a lot about this. Food cost is not just a calculation, like a mathematical calculation. It is at the beginning a calculation. You check what is the cost of your dish, and then you have to multiply it by a number, a coefficient that is based on, let's say, accounting calculations. Okay, so usually the food cost is something that you have to control together with who takes care of the administration. So this is something very important. You start from the calculation of the cost, you multiply it, you check if the price is, let's say, it's doable, is acceptable for the type of customers that you have. And a lot of people think that here the story is finished. You have made the right calculation, you have multiplied by X percentage as your accountant suggested, and your job is done. It is not like this. You have to always control the quality of the preparation. If you maintain the cost, but the recipe somehow doesn't work because customers are not satisfied or because there is a lot of waste, it means that something needs to be checked, because numbers are beautiful, but they remain numbers on paper. Then there is the reality. It's what you do every single day, multiple times a day, every time you serve that dish. Another important thing that people don't usually do is they're called yield tests. So you have a recipe that serves 10 people, 20 people, 30 people. So your cost is calculated based on how many servings you can get. So the final cost is 100 euros. I have 10 servings. This means that my dish costs to me 10 euros. Okay, let's say that it works. But then when I produce this on a daily basis, am I sure that I really have 10 servings from that recipe, or maybe for some reason the servings become 8 or 7? Because maybe the execution made by the staff in the kitchen is not correct. So you always have to check if the recipes does what it's supposed to do, and this connects to the quality of the labor, the quality of the staff. A staff that is not properly trained, that doesn't have enough experience, is for sure a staff that exposes the restaurant to mistakes, and the mistakes in this case become a loss of profit or an increase of waste. That of course means a loss of profit. So the food cost is let's say a system that is not just a mere calculation, but it involves also the necessity to check that all this system works from the moment that you write these numbers on a piece of paper to the moment that you receive the money, when the customer pays the bills, and somehow the numbers do not work, at the end of the month or at the end of the year. It is important to keep the storage under control. So to have someone in the restaurant or cafe or whatever other place that takes care of keeping the stock under control. One of the things that happen very often is when you purchase without a perfect vision of what you really need. So you overbuy just because I don't know, in case we're gonna use it. That extra is going to be stored there. It's not going to produce any profit. It might be just simply a waste that at the end of the month means money. And if this mistake is repeated multiple times, even if the amounts are little, it is surprising how at the end of the month these little amounts become hundreds and thousands of euros. That multiplied 12 times in a year means a big difference, means having really a good revenue or struggling for something that is not even connected with the production of food. So just simply buying the wrong ingredients, buying too much, even if it's not necessary. So the purchasing in a restaurant or anyway in food service is fundamental. It is one of the first things to keep under control. Then, as I said, large menus. I know that guests like to have a choice. I think that in 2025, what I have seen is that people actually appreciate shorter menus. Most of the people appreciate shorter menus. Of course, a menu must be designed so that it's not perceived as limited. But it's not the quantity, it's not that if you have 20 different types of pasta, the guest has a better service. You can plan the menu with 5 or 6 different types of pasta, making sure that the ingredients, that the recipes offer a variety to the guest. If these 6 dishes of pasta are all made with meat, which most of the people like, but it's a limitation. What if I don't want to eat meat with my pasta? What if, and for meat I mean meat sauces, not a slab of chicken on top of fettuccine. Okay, so this is not what I'm saying. What if I'm vegetarian? What if I simply want to have a nice pasta with vegetables? The fact that I don't have this possibility of choice is seen as a limitation. So it is possible to have a varied menu, even if the menu is not made of like 10 pages, it's not like a kind of phone book. Large menus bring to more waste. It's inevitable because it's very hard that you're able to sell everything from that menu. So what usually restaurants do in order to offer these large menus is also to cut corners and eventually have ready-made sauces simply because it's easier to open the can. The can can have a longer shelf life, which is not what I think food service should be about.
About large menus, like in Armenia, we have lots of places where you can see long menu.
Yeah.
This is, I think, happens. This happens because they want to please every customer that joins, so that they retain the customers. But at the same time, what effect do long menus have on the kitchen operations? apart from buying various products that
Yeah.
need to be stored in the storage.
Allora, let's say that a large menu can be designed in a clever way, meaning that if I don't know, for main courses you have 10 different types of meat grilled, in that case, okay, you have to buy all these ingredients, but for the operations in the kitchen, grilling one type of meat instead of another actually might require the same time. So sometimes large menus are designed in a clever way so that they show variety, but at the end of the day, this variety for the kitchen doesn't mean messing up with all the operations. The problem is when the menus include overly complex dishes multiple times. This means that the kitchen is always under stress if you don't have staff that is trained to manage this volume of orders and work that an order can cause to the kitchen flow. So it depends how the menu is structured. If you have 10 different salads, but at the end of the day they are made with the same 10 ingredients mixed differently, you need to have a staff that is quick and ready to remember all the different compositions, but in terms of workflow, it's not going to change the work that much. It's clear that the more dishes you offer, and the more is the possibility that at the table people get different. Each person gets a different dish. This, of course, means complicating the work in the kitchen, and this, connecting to what we were saying before, brings to possible delays in the service, because if you have to prepare 30 different dishes all at the same time, somehow it's clear that this might cause eventual mistakes and delays. So a more simple menu means producing less dishes, but focusing on the quality of these dishes. A large menu usually, from my experience, brings the kitchen to basically complete the orders with the idea that they just have to send this dish out. Okay, like the orders are so many that you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and the dishes need to go out just because they have to go out. This is sometimes inevitable, especially if the kitchen is not structured to bear this volume of work. A simple menu allows you to focus more on every single preparation, besides helps you keeping the food cost under control. Another thing that I was saying before is about the pricing strategies. Even this thing is very important. It's connected to the food cost, but I would say that it refers more to the marketing strategy of the restaurant. Not always the dish that gives the highest revenue is the best for the kitchen. Okay, if the dish that gives the highest revenue is also one of those dishes that can complicate the work in the kitchen, those 3-4 euros more that you can get from every single dish into your pocket doesn't usually justify the mess that they eventually can create in the kitchen. So usually the simple dish that is made with high quality ingredients, and so that can please the customers just because it's good and it has an harmony of flavors, is usually what you're looking for. Something that can allow you speed of service, consistent quality, and of course a good revenue. Pricing is not an emotional thing. Sometimes it happens that you create a dish that you really think is a good product, that you're really proud of, and so immediately you think, okay, this must cost more, just simply because you have spent so much in designing it that you want people to pay more for that, but not for the money. It's because anyway, this higher economic value is also a way to, you know, to give more value to your ability, and this shouldn't happen. You know, the menu should be analyzed considering first of all the type of customers that you have. The pricing of a menu shouldn't be an emotional thing. Sometimes chefs decide to price a dish that they really believe in, that they're really proud of, with a higher price, just because they want people to pay more, not just to make more money, but just to somehow celebrate the dish. And this is something that shouldn't happen, because the pricing should involve a wider overview. First of all, you have to consider the spending power of your customers. So if you are in an area that is not touristic, or maybe there are a lot of offices, and the majority of your customers are customers that come for a lunch break, okay, that is usually quite short, and then people have to go back to work. You cannot expect that these people pay always high bills. So if the spending power is lower, you have to structure the pricing on that potential spending power, because otherwise you would offer a menu that these people cannot afford, or maybe they can afford once, but then they're not coming the following day. So somehow you have to decide also the dishes that you can offer, so that you can offer them at the price that your customers are able to pay, or they're willing to pay. So it is necessary to do a market search to understand if the type of customers that we are looking for, or that we already have, are willing to pay a certain amount of money, for the experience in your restaurant. And the value of the value that the guests give to the bill, and it's connected with the overall experience. This is what we were saying before. So if the service is good, if the food is good, if the service is fluent and quick, and if the overall experience is positive, there are customers that are willing to pay few euros more. And those few euros more don't necessarily come only from the quality of the food, but they come from the overall experience. So this is why there has to be a harmony, not only in the dish, but also in the overall service and ambience and food quality, because this is what people are paying for. Very seldom people just match the quality of food with the bill. Okay, if there has been a good service, those extra euros that they think they have paid are justified. So that the pricing strategy should consider not just the food cost, but should consider also the guest. This is why it is connected with the marketing strategy. The other thing that we were mentioning before is a bad workflow in the kitchen and in the front of the house. And now we're talking about training the staff, because a staff that is well trained can guarantee a certain speed of service, a certain quality in the preparations, and when I say service, it's service for what it's related to the kitchen, but also the front of the house. So this is something fundamental. The staff should be properly trained, and I think that restaurants should invest in the training of the staff more than what they usually do. I think that successful restaurants are those that invest more in training the staff. And if you think about it, it's kind of obvious, okay? If you have the great chef that doesn't have a trained staff, how can you think that the restaurant can work properly? It's not just the chef that does all the dishes, it's the kitchen environment that produces the whole menu. Same thing for the front of the house. You can have the best sommelier, but if everybody else in the restaurant is not able to match the quality of the great sommelier or maître d', you're gonna have like a kind of Maradona in the dining room or in the kitchen, but the rest of the team is not going to support him. So the staff is fundamental, because the chef or the restaurant manager, lead and give the guidance and the guidelines. But if there is nobody that can listen and apply and respect those guidelines, the work is not consistent. So training the staff is fundamental. And it is usually not a loss of money. A lot of people see the training as a huge investment that they have to do in advance, and so it is not seen as something that is really related to a final revenue. But at the end of the day, the kitchens that are, the restaurants that are more successful, also from the economic point of view, are those that have a consistent staff, a trained staff, and the idea of a team that works all together. When you go to a restaurant that really works well, you perceive it from how the people move, how the service move, how how quickly, and for quickly I don't mean like too quickly, but how the pace of the kitchen workflow, you somehow perceive it. You feel that everybody is in the right position, that everybody knows what to do. There are no waiters that try to understand where they have to go, because they know what they have to do exactly, and this somehow has a good impact on the customer, because when you're sitting in a restaurant, you feel if people that are around you, if people in the service have the situation under control, and somehow psychologically, even if we don't think about it, but we feel that there is someone with experience that is taking care of you, and even this is an added value that eventually you can transform into a small revenue per dish that you can add to the final bill.
So seasonality can either make a restaurant a profitable place or ruin it. What strategies should restaurants have and implement to have the revenue steady throughout the whole year, and how can they deal with low season to make revenue stable?
I think it's necessary that investors make, first of all, a market search. They can hire professionals that can give an idea and statistics about which direction the market is taking in that specific area. But I think that it's also important that investors are present on site to evaluate which are the competitors, which of the competitors is more successful, and eventually why, which are the options, which are eventually the things that are missing, the type of offer that is missing in that specific area, and try to understand also the people of that area, the future customers of that area. This is, I think, the first thing if you decide to open a business and you don't know the area exactly. But even if you know it, I still think that a help from some professionals is necessary, especially if who invests doesn't have a big experience in the field. Second, we need to understand, we should work on the forecasting. Okay, so you should have an idea of the of the annual revenue, and understand the curve, and start to work where the curve is low, and what can you do to let's say balance this curve. Try to find occasions for guests to come to your place. It can be creating special events weekly or monthly, or creating events for the community that somehow can attract the people to your place. I want to make an example. In Italy, but not only in Italy, I think everywhere, unfortunately, in some restaurants or pubs, now we see these big screens, and I would say that it's usually not a thing that I would suggest, because eating while everybody is looking at the television seems not focusing very much on on the ambience and on the sharing this eating experience. But some places do this because they know that through this they attract people that maybe go there to see the football team, or I don't know, the Wimbledon finals. So it's an occasion to tell people, look, don't stay at home watching television, watch it here with us, and you can eat and have your night out. So from the let's say business point of view, it works, even though it's not the best solution for a certain type of restaurants. But anyway, it's a way that you can attract customers that otherwise would never go out during that night. So if at the end of the month this can make a significant change in the revenue, it's not something that I would suggest, but it's something that I totally understand. But there is not only this, there is, as I said, the possibility of organizing events for the community, or organizing I don't know, special tasting menus that can attract, because maybe there is a special pairing of food and wine. This is something important. You always have to give customers the opportunity to find interesting coming to your place, and so it's a big part of the management of the restaurant. Again, it's not about cooking good food. Of course, if food is not good, if service is not good, people maybe don't come back. But it is important to create the opportunity, to stimulate people to go out, even in that period of the year that is usually the winter, when staying at home with your gym suit maybe is preferable. You should create the interest. You should stimulate the customers. So another thing that of course needs to be taken in consideration is the labor cost. And what usually a restaurant should do is to have like a basic staff that can guarantee the operations any time of the year, and eventually seasonal staff that can be added, especially if the sales curve shows peaks and lows. It is not easy to keep the staff working all year round, even when the season is low. It is probably difficult for investors to keep paying people even if the work is not enough. But I think that these should be part of the forecasting that every investor should do before they start an activity. So have always the plan B or C available, but know that without the staff in this business, without the staff that can give a good service and that can provide consistent quality in the kitchen, you don't go nowhere. Okay, so this, again, the staff is an investment that shouldn't be put in second place. It's actually the first investment. This is not a job that you can make with machines. So you spend that money, this machine can last 20 years and it just produces things as you push the button. It's not like this, it's made of people, and people have all their feelings and their needs and necessities. So I think that who invests should be able to guarantee the stability of the staff, even in terms of payroll, because without this you have a constant turnover that is absolutely terrible for this business, because you should be training staff constantly, explaining everything constantly. So this is an amount of effort that is tiring, at the end of the year, instead of having a staff that grows little by little together with you, and that also feels part of this project. This is something very important, the motivation that you give to the staff. It's easy to motivate the staff when the restaurant is full. okay? But it's when the restaurant is not full at all, or if you have just 2 or 3 tables, which can happen, it's normal, that you have to make sure that your staff is stable, because those are the moments that for sure are difficult, both for who invests but also for who is working, every single day and spends so many hours together with people. The staff should always be motivated, because they are those that are in contact with the customers. And when you go into a restaurant and you see those kind of sad faces of people that really seem to be there to do you a favor, that is not something good. Because again, we go out because we want someone to take care of us, Otherwise, we could stay home and cook our own meal and pay much less money for the same meal. We go out because we want someone to take care of us. And so we need to be able to provide a staff that can take care of us, that can take care of the people. But to do this, you need to know that you're dealing with people. Your staff are persons; they are not just numbers on the paycheck. And the better experience they have, the better experience they can transfer to the customers. So yes, it's not easy, but I think that the restaurant should be structured around the number of staff that you can provide. The number of staff that you can support. If you know that during the low season you can have only 4 people in the staff, 2 in the kitchen and 2 in the service, let's say, okay? For an average 30, 40 seats restaurant can be fine during the low season. Make sure that you can afford those 4 people. And in order to do this, you have to plan the menu and all the operations in a way that they can be managed by this number of people. If you create, as I was saying before, the super beautiful place, but it's huge, so the distances from the kitchen to the last table are excessive, and if you choose to have, I don't know, for example, very beautiful plates or very beautiful glasses, but they are very difficult to clean, very difficult to make it shine, you're just creating a workload that number of staff that you can afford cannot bear. Okay, so at that point, the problem is in the planning. If you can invest 100, you invest 100, not 150. Okay, so if you can bear the 100, do something that can be managed with your, possibilities of expense. This is something that sometimes people don't think about. I think that if you cannot do the 100% of what you would like, but you can give only the 70%, do it, but give the 100% of the 70%.
Massimo, thank you very much for coming again. That was a really good visit. And also thank you very much for the conversation and the answers. I think most of them will be really useful for the people who have restaurants and businesses in Armenia.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me again. I'm always happy to come to visit, and whenever you have more questions, we'll have another talk.
Next time we'll talk more about the Pishas and the Pishas Armenia.
Of course.
Thank you.